We're doing it section 3.4, example 1. This requires us to find the derivative of this function using the definition of the derivative. So if we follow the steps that we see there, step 1 says that we first want to find f of x plus h. So f of x plus h will be whatever we get when we replace that x with x plus h. So that's the same way you would do it for any function. Anywhere you see an x, you're going to be just plugging in x plus h. Step 2 says find and simplify f of x plus h minus f of x. Okay, so f of x plus h minus f of x is going to be what we just found. That's the f of x plus h minus f of x. That's the function itself, so 3 over x. And then it says to simplify this. So what they mean by that is that we want to, in this particular case, subtract these terms. And we'll do that by finding a common denominator. So we'll multiply the first term. The common denominator is going to be the product of the two denominators. So the first one, we'll need to multiply it by x over x. So we're going to have 3x over x plus h times x. I'm just multiplying that term by x over x. On the other one, we want to have an x plus h, so we're going to have to multiply by x plus h over x plus h. So here's our x plus h, and then I'll have an x already down there. So I multiplied the top and the bottom of that one by x plus h. So now what do we have? We have the same denominator on both of them, so we can combine them as a single fraction. So we get 3x minus 3x plus h divided by the common denominator, which was x plus h x. Okay, we can do more than that because we can distribute that minus 3, so we're going to get 3x minus 3x. The minus 3 will distribute to the other one as well, so we'll have minus 3h. Divide this by x plus h x. Now notice the 3x terms are going to cancel, so what we have left is minus 3h over x plus h x. Okay, so we've found and simplified that quantity there. Step 3 says divide by h. So basically we're going to take what we just got. So step 3 is we want to find f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h. So we just found the numerator, f of x plus h minus f of x. That's what we just found. That's this here. So we're going to have minus 3h over x plus h times x. And then we are dividing this by h, so we have an h in the denominator. Now remember, h by itself can also be written as h over 1. So what we have at this point is a fraction over a fraction. How do we deal with that? We multiply the top part of the fraction by the reciprocal of the bottom part. So the reciprocal of h over 1 is 1 over h. Okay, and then we want to simplify this. Notice that now we've got an h here and here, so we can now cancel these h's. Okay, so what is that going to leave us with? Minus 3 over x plus h times x. The last step is to let h go to 0. So what we want to do now is take the limit as h approaches 0 of that quantity that we just found, f of x plus h minus f of x over h. Now we just found that that is this, so that's going to be the same as finding the limit as h approaches 0 of this function that we just found and simplified, minus 3 over x plus h times x. Okay, now if we remember from taking limits, we can do direct substitution here, because plugging in 0 for h does not result in having a 0 in the denominator. So if I plug in 0 there, that's going to go away. This term is basically gone. It's going to go to 0. And so what are we left with then? We're left with minus 3 over, and then I've got an x times another x, so that's x squared. So we've found the derivative as a function of x. Then it also says to find f prime of 2, f prime of 0, and f prime of 3. So I'll try to just squeeze those in here. if I want to find f prime, so that is f prime right there, f prime of 2, that just means I'm going to plug in 2 for the function that I just got. So minus 3 over 2 squared. So that's minus 3/4. F prime of 0, notice that's going to be undefined. Why? Because if I try to plug 0 in there, I'm going to be dividing by 0. So that's undefined. And then finally, f prime of 3 would be what? I'm just running out of room here. So f prime of 3 will be whatever I get when I plug in 3 into that function there. So in this case, I'll have 3 squared. So that's minus 3 over 9. So that's going to be minus 1/3. Now keep in mind that what this represents then, this would be the slope of the tangent line for the original function at 2 and at 3. Meaning that if I were to graph that function and go to x equals 2 and think about what a tangent line would look like right there, that would be the slope of the tangent line at x equals 2. And that would be the slope of the tangent line at x equals 3. Since f prime of 0 is undefined, there is no tangent line at x equals 0. And again, you can kind of see that because the function itself is undefined at 0. All right, so that's the derivative of the function and then plugging in a couple of points.